We are here with Dennis Hobson. Obviously, now I appreciate you've just jumped on an interview with Joe, and you're up here at the O2 and the TM14 Nielsen. I know that you do a lot with both these guys. How's it going?
Great. It's great. They put some great shows together. John's going to Vegas with me this weekend. We're looking at, as you've seen, 2 weeks.
Messy,
maybe. But I've got some business meetings for us, so he's got to keep the performance quite as clean as possible. So we've got a Chelsea Football Club next week, UK versus USA. But I've been looking at the venue here. This has got potential for us to do something like that again. But Vegas next week with the potential of doing a similar thing over there. So how big would that be for some of these kids who's boxing on some of these shows, representing the UK against the USA? So that's the reason why we're going over there. Not for a gamble, not for a jolly. Yeah. I'm sure we'll have a bit of fun while we're there, but it's a business meeting, business trip, sorry.
I cannot wait for obviously the Chelsea, the stadium show at Chelsea. Like you said, it's a first professional one. Roy Jones Jr. is going to be there. The UK, I'm going to represent the UK. I'll always, don't care who's in front of me, I'm going to be representing the UK, even if Roy Jones is here. And I look forward to it. How is that show shaping up?
Yeah, I mean, it's something different. You know, I've said this to one or two people like yourself about looking for something different. I've been doing this game for 30 odd years, and then during COVID, I managed to get us the first ever driving show, and then I did the car park shows and things like that. So looking for something a little bit different. Now, I know we've had the prize fighting, we've had the contender, and this is like a little bit of in between. And during the COVID, I come up with this idea: how good would it be to have a version of the Ryder Cup in boxing?
Yeah.
And that's how it was born. I go and see a good friend of mine and call him John Ryder, and I think that's why I got the idea, even though his name's spelled different. And I said, I'd love to do something like that. And he said, oh, Dennis, I'd really like to help you do it. And we wanted to try and do the first one in Vegas, but we ended up doing the first one in Texas.
Yeah.
And we proved that the concept works. The kids bought into it. They were part of a team. They weren't just boxing for themselves. They were boxing for the UK and the team.
Well, again, like I said, I know you've got obviously shows in the Midlands as well. I appreciate that you've got a lot of fingers in many pies. How is 2025 looking for you?
I'm a bit more optimistic this year because I can see a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. I've been digging away and trying to create something, and we've got some great potential. And I'm working with John and Mark. It's where we come together, and sometimes one of my dad's favourite sayings, "No man's an island." And sometimes when you can come together, you can make a bigger pie, which is a lot more beneficial for everybody. And then we're stronger when we work together on some of these shows. So I see the potential working with John, especially John and Mark. And I've got Scott Kalo up there, and obviously there's Carl Greaves and people like that up there in the north, because I'm obviously from the north. But I love coming down here because the footfall, there's that many kids down here, because it's like a planet of its own, isn't it, London. But we're going to do some big stuff, and we've got some very, very potentially big players who want to back us. So that's coming together nicely, and deals don't get done overnight.
Of course.
And it takes a lot of plugging and proving yourself. Even though I've been at this game 30 odd years, I've been plugging away, and while everybody's going out and they're pimping themselves over in Saudi Arabia, we're keeping boxing real here.
Well, that's great. Thank you, Dennis. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing what 2025 brings. Cheers.
Get your English.